Hello, and thanks for checking out Chemistry Connections on the Hopewell Valley Student Podcasting Network, a proud partner of hvspn.com, where students come together to publish content to share with the world. The opinions represented within this episode are those of the content creators only. Please enjoy the show.
Welcome to Chemistry Connections. My name is Mari Kwak, and I am your host for episode 20 called The Chemistry Behind Drug-Induced Parkinsons. Today I will be discussing how poorly made synthetic heroin can induce symptoms of Parkinson's disease in users. Now for a little bit of background. Parkinson's disease is a genetically inherited disorder of the central nervous system, which can affect body movement. Over the past 8 years or so, outbreaks of induced Parkinson's have been found in California, Maryland, Vancouver, British Columbia, and elsewhere. The synthetic heroin powder containing MPTP is usually either dissolved in water and injected into the bloodstream or snorted. Unlike other effects of the drug, which take consistent usage over a period of time, this new synthetic drug can cause irreversible symptoms of Parkinson's within the first use. Some symptoms of Parkinson's observed in patients are difficulty moving, rigidity, resting tremors, flexed posture, and loss of postural reflexes. The heroin powder itself, otherwise known as MPTP, does not cause Parkinson's. It's the MPTP that is an accidental byproduct of the synthetic heroin that is causing the Parkinson's-like symptoms. This background info comes from the CDC article with data from the National Institute on Drug Abuse and the National Institute on Mental Health. The chemical compound N-methyl-4-phenyl-1,2,3,6-tetrahydropyridine, otherwise known as MPTP, is the accidental byproduct of MPP+, a synthetic opium drug. MPTP itself is not toxic, but when it oxidizes into MPP+, after it breaks the skin barrier, it becomes toxic. The MAOB enzyme contained in astrocytes and serotonergic neurons reacts with MPTP in a redox reaction. MAOB acts as a catalyst to help facilitate the oxidation reaction of MPTP. First, MPTP is oxidized by losing an electron to become the chemical MPDP+. From there, more MABO oxidizes MPDP+ into MPP+ by losing another electron. The final product, MPP+, is the toxic chemical found to induce Parkinson's. MPP+ is considered toxic because it kills dopamine-producing neurons in the brain, which have a high affinity for MPP+. Since these two have a high affinity for each other, the dopamine transmitter DAT takes MPP+ up to the DA dopamine-producing neurons, where MPP+ uses its neurotoxicity to interrupt the complex 1 respiratory chain. This complex 1 respiratory chain is responsible for catalyzing the electron transfer between two different coenzymes. These two coenzymes are essential for cells to function normally. Catalysts like the complex 1 respiratory chain increase the rate of reactions by lowering the activation energy of the reaction. Since the complex 1 respiratory chain is interrupted, the electron transfer between two essential coenzymes will happen at too slow a rate for these cells to function normally. When the dopamine-producing neurons cannot function properly, they cause disorders like Parkinson's. In one autopsy of a drug user, MPTP appears to have destroyed the substantia nigra's nerve cells located in the center bottom of the brain. The pathway from the substantia nigra to signal the rest of the brain is made up of dopamine-using neurons, which are severely damaged by MPP+. The substantia nigra controlled body movement and control, so the destruction of the substantia nigra's nerve cells from MPP+ causes the patient to lose body control and struggle with body movement. Defects in this area of the brain are seen in both Parkinson's patients and drug users who have ingested MPTP. The chemical reaction that destroys nerve cells after MPTP is ingested with synthetic heroin is responsible for inducing Parkinson's-like symptoms in drug users. Little bit of personal connection. My old coach was trafficking drugs, including heroin, across the country with her son, and I was wondering how underground chemists, aka illegal drug makers, make large batches of these drugs without lots of failures. And it turns out that they don't, especially since chemicals to make meth, heroin, fentanyl and a lot of other drugs have become more restricted from the FDA. I found it interesting to learn about different byproducts that were accidentally created in the formation of different drugs. It's also interesting that medication/drugs can inadvertently mimic genetic disorders that have no cure. Although MPTP is not good, hopefully it will be able to help chemists and pharma personnel understand Parkinson's disease better, and potentially to a cure or further preventative measures to stop symptoms before they can develop. Thank you for listening to this episode of Chemistry Connections. For more student-ran podcasts and digital content, make sure to visit www.hvspn.com. Bye!